What's going on, everybody out there? Welcome to our second live stream. It's the Average Sports Nerds. I'm joined,
Recording in
as
progress.
always, by my guy, Alex Nix. What's going on, man? How are you doing today?
What's up, man? Happy to be here again. Happy to be live with all the people again. Had a lot happen this past week, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Definitely, man. It's been a big week in sports for sure. I know we got the Olympics going on, NBA Finals wrapping up. We're getting into football season. We're definitely going to get into all of that on this episode for sure. But before we do, I do want to announce that we are still giving away this Dennis Rodman picture that I'm holding here. Got it here. Looking to send this out to somebody. All you got to do is comment on this video. We were gonna give it away on this show, but didn't get the comments. So comment on this video as soon as it goes live, and we're gonna be giving that away to one lucky viewer. But yeah, I guess other than that, if you're watching right now, go ahead and give us a like. Help out the stream. It's good for us. That's how we get our podcast in front of more people. So help us out with the likes. And then yeah, we might as well get right into the NBA talk. We can start with the finals. I'll kind of just open the floor up for you first. We know the story. Giannis dropped 50.
Yeah.
First championship for the Bucks in 50 years. What's your biggest takeaways from this series?
Well, we gotta give props to Giannis first and foremost. That Game Six performance was one of legend. It was absolutely legendary, an epic performance. 50 points. That's very rare company to drop 50 points in the finals game. Not to mention, um, he had his best free throw shooting game I think of his entire career, and to do it in the game that wins you the finals is just it speaks to how hard he's worked and how far he's come in the 7 8 years he's been in the league. His resume right now is very impressive. He's only 26. If he continues at this pace, he's gonna go down as a easily a top 10 player of all time, maybe up there with the best power forwards ever. Um, so give him credit, man. It was, uh, yeah, and other than being happy for Giannis, I was heartbroken for Chris Paul. He played his heart out throughout these playoffs, battling through COVID. We all thought he was going to get hurt, or we all thought he was hurt in that first round. Battled back from that, so I was heartbroken for him, but really happy to see the Suns get there, and it was just I guess give credit to Giannis. He deserves all the credit.
Yeah, definitely. Giannis showed why he's one of the best players in the league. Two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. I think all of that was on display, especially in that Game 6 win. To go along with those 50 points, 5 blocks, I thought that was a huge key for the Bucks. He turned away a lot of shots in big moments. 17 to 19, like you mentioned at the line. I earlier on the last episode we did, I mentioned that he was 13 of 17 in one of the games, and I said jokingly he definitely is not going to do that again this series. And he was better in this game with even more at stake. So just overall great performance for him. Obviously, like you said, the other side was CP3. That's a tough one, man. I thought him, along with Devin Booker, Aiton, the whole team kind of just fell apart there. And it wasn't like a huge meltdown. I give a lot more credit to the Bucks than I do to the Suns for falling apart. But yeah, it's tough, man. When you got 8 and 12 and 6 in the closeout game, he was 4 for 12. He was pretty bad out there. And Booker 8 for 22. He was bad too. So the Suns kind of left the door open, and Giannis ran through the door, slammed it shut behind him, and
Yeah,
he's having a great time at the parade.
yeah. Like I said, man, we got to give him all the credit in the world. I mean, he played out of his mind. Well deserved. Got that Finals MVP. He showed everybody why he is the Greek freak, because he was absolutely dominating down low. He wasn't doing it with his threes. I mean, he would shoot. He only made one three in that 50-point game in Game Six. Um, so I think it was Shaq who thanked him for bringing back bully ball back into the finals and into the spotlight of being able to win. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I said, Giannis deserves all the credit in the world. And I do want to touch on one player who I was very disappointed in. But it was DeAndre Ayton. And I mean, you got to give credit to the Bucks defense. And Brook Lopez did a good job against him. Giannis, of course, down there as well, did a good job against Ayton. But when you're number one pick, I know it's what his second or third year in the league. Um, you know, I still expected more out of him. He didn't play poorly by any means, but he didn't do enough. I know he's young. He's got a lot of time to grow. He's going to grow. He's going to be a very, very good player for a very long time. But I was a little disappointed with his performance towards the end of the finals. When they were winning, that he was playing well. I think the Bucks made really, really great adjustments. Obviously, winning four straight is no easy feat in the playoffs, and they did it after going down 2-0. Um, but yeah, I did expect a little bit more from DeAndre Ayton. Devin Booker played his heart out. He didn't have the best shooting game in Game Six. Uh, so I mean, that combined with Giannis having his best free throw shooting game, there was really no chance for the Suns to win. I mean, imagine if Giannis hits 60% of his free throws like he's done his entire career. That game is completely different, and the Suns have a very good chance of winning that game. So, just again, give credit to Giannis because he deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point for sure because all these games, it seemed like the Suns were right there. They just could never really get over the hump. They'd always lose by 7, 8 points. These weren't blowouts by any means. So, yeah, Giannis's free throws, I think, definitely were the difference. I think if he shoots 60%, like you said, they probably lose this game.
Yep.
But, I mean, I want to go back to your point about Aiton, though, because it's it's crazy to me. Like you said, I know he's only second, third year player. He's a young guy, but 12 points and 6 rebounds in 36 minutes. It's just definitely not good enough, man. Even Frank Kaminsky in that game six, there was a stretch there. He had 6 points in about 3 or 4 minutes span, and I thought that was bigger than anything that Aiton did for the entire game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just unacceptable for the third guy, pretty much in the big three of the
Hmm.
Suns.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if he played well, then I think if he played well throughout the series, I think the Suns win the series. I still think the Suns are a more talented basketball team than the Bucks are. The Bucks just played better. They out executed. They had a better game plan. They out executed, and of course they had the best player in the series, and that always helps. But overall, as a team, I still think the Suns are a better team talent wise. It's just Giannis was just too good, and Aiden wasn't good enough. Really, I think that's really what it came down to.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you look at the rest of the Bucks in Game Six, Middleton only had 17 points. He was 6 for 13. Drew Holiday only had 12 points. He was 4 of 19.
Yeah,
I mean, he did chip in 11 assists and 9 rebounds, so he still had a
four steals
solid
as well.
game. Yeah,
Hmm.
those were huge, as we
Yeah,
know, with the big steal at the end. But Bobby Portis really was the main guy who came along with Giannis. I feel like when you get the 50 piece, you kind of just need that one other guy. And it was Bobby
yeah,
Portis to me, 16 points off the bench in 23 minutes, 6 of 10, hit two threes, made both his free throws. He was good. He was good, and I thought he was good for this whole series.
yeah. He was. I mean, he was a big spark plug for them. Every championship team needs one of those spark plug role players to come off the bench or be in your starting lineup and just be an extra guy that gives the team energy and gives the crowd energy and just does all the little things. Um, Especially hit timely buckets, and that's exactly what Bobby Portis did. And I mean, I know Chris Middleton didn't have the best scoring performance. Obviously, with he only had 17 in that Game Six win, but he hit a few very timely baskets towards the end of the game to really clinch it. Um, and again, the Bucks just outplayed. They just played better. Period. In those four games that they won, and it could have gone either way, especially with Giannis's free throw shooting. But again, I'm gonna keep saying it. Giannis deserves all the credit in the world for hitting the free throws and just growing as a player.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more. But I mean, I guess with that, the real question now, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this, does this championship make Giannis the best player in the world right now over guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron James?
I mean, for me, he was definitely the most dominant player of the playoffs. Throughout the entirety of the playoffs, he was the most dominant. I'm not gonna say that he's better than LeBron. I'm not gonna say he's better than Kevin Durant just off of one playoff performance. I know LeBron. I'm not. I know you don't mean like over LeBron's career, obviously, because he's obviously considered unanimously by a lot of people the number two player of all time. Um, but even LeBron was in the MVP race before he got hurt this year. So when we have a healthy LeBron with a healthy team around him, I don't know if Giannis is still better. If Giannis is better than him, I don't. I'm not. So I'm not ready to just say that quite yet. If LeBron gets hurt next year again and Giannis continues to perform like this, yeah, sure, I'll say it then. But as of right now, it's still very hard for me to say that a year removed after LeBron won a championship himself.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, that's the conversation is for the second best player in the world between Giannis and LeBron.
Oh no,
I think KD
no,
showed he's the best player in the
no, he
world.
didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't.
I'm
He
not worried
didn't.
about it. At least I know. I think we all should know that if his foot was just 1 inch further back, that
Yes,
KD
but
would be winning the championship right now. I think that's pretty clear to
do
see.
we? I don't think that's clear to see.
I
I
think
don't think so.
I think so, man.
I don't
Like,
think so. I think if the Nets play the Suns in the finals, I think the Suns have more confidence, to be honest, because the Nets don't play nearly as good defense. I think the Suns, after they lost a couple games, they just lost their confidence offensively because their defense was so swarming and so good. The Nets don't play defense like that, and I know there were a couple low-scoring games in that Nets Bucks series, but the Nets were just missing shots. Like James Harden was missing good open shots. So was Joe Harris. So look, I
but
mean,
that's the point though. For me, is the farther they go, I feel like James Harden would have got healthier and healthier. Kyrie possibly comes back, and then if that happens, we know it's gonna happen with those three on the court.
no, we don't. I still don't agree with that. We don't know what's going to happen with them on the court because we haven't seen it yet. So I have no idea what's going to happen on the court. Are they going to mesh well together? I have no idea. But
I mean,
regardless,
we saw
regardless, I'm not just going to concede that if the Nets gets to the finals, that they win, that they also win. Um, Now the main reason why I'm going to say that Kevin Durant is not the best player in the world right now is because of what's going on with Team USA in the Olympics. We're going to touch on that a little bit. Team USA today in the first match in the first game group games in the Olympics lost to France. France. Their best players are Evan Fournier and Rudy Gobert. Two solid NBA players. Obviously, Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't care. I No, you don't lose to France. You don't lose to Nigeria. I know Nigeria and Australia. I know those are exhibition games.
just warm up
Don't,
games.
they don't count, but it doesn't matter.
Just warm
Since
up games.
since the Dream Team was formed in 1992, Team USA lost two exhibition games in 20, 30, almost 30 years. They lost the only two exhibition games they played this year. I want to hear it. Look, Kevin Durant, he is all right. He considers himself the best player in the world. He's clearly the best player on Team USA, right? So that would mean he should step up and be a leader. He's not a leader. He's not. That's obvious. With everything that's happened in Oklahoma City, with everything that happened in Brooklyn, in Golden State, he wasn't the leader in Golden State. That was still Steph Curry's team. Okay, Kevin Durant just came in and just hit
And,
open shots
and was
because
the
he was wide
Finals
open.
MVP for 2 straight years.
That's because of the team he played on. Okay, I know he delivered, but that doesn't mean he's a good leader. He's not. He is the most gifted scorer we've seen, at least I've ever seen. Right? I think you can agree with that. The most gifted scorer we've ever
Hey,
seen.
that's got to
With
count
that
for
said,
something.
with that said, he is so weak mentally. He cannot be a leader. He is letting Team USA basketball, who is supposed to be untouchable, and we normally are, lose in the Olympics. They won what, almost 30 straight games in the Olympics. They lost in the Olympics to France. They let Evan Fournier score 28 on him, and then how many points did Kevin Durant have? He had 10. 10. 10 points. Drew Holiday was the leading scorer. Drew Holiday, guy who literally even a week removed from winning an NBA championship, comes in, scores 18 points. What is Kevin Durant doing? Nothing. Nothing. Look, he had a bad game, sure. Why are they
Off
losing?
game.
Why are they losing to teams who don't even come close in matching talent with them? This is 3 now. If they don't win gold medal, Kevin Durant will never, ever, ever be able to live this down. I don't care. I'm never gonna forgive him for this.
They're
If
gonna
they
win the
don't win
gold medal though. I'm not.
I'm not.
I'm
even
still
gonna,
not.
even,
I'm still not worried.
If they lose again, look out. Look, I'm telling you, they need to win. They need to win every single game from here on out. And the way they're playing, if Kevin Durant doesn't step up, yo, come on. What? If he should be able to score 40 against these guys. Why isn't he?
He's not gonna score 40. They're gonna work the ball around. You know, Team USA play a inclusive style. Everybody gets a touch. It didn't work out. Nobody was good in this game. Honestly, if I'm looking at the stats here, even Drew Holiday with his 18, he was 5 for 13. Lillard was 3 for 10. Jason Tatum 3 for 9. It was a rough game, man. They'll get it back. Look, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But I think one game to start the play is not just going to take him off that top spot. We got to see what he does.
For me, it does, because mentally he just doesn't have that it factor, because he's never been able to do it by himself. Obviously, we know that. He's never been able to do it by himself.
Nobody does it by himself.
Okay, but he's never been obviously the absolute best player on his team when the other team is better than his. That hasn't happened for him once, and he's actually won. He was supposed to win in Oklahoma City when they were up 3-1. We're going to keep going over this, bro. Every single time we talk about Kevin Durant, this is going to come up. They should have won Game 6 in Oklahoma City, but he choked. So did Russell Westbrook, though. So, look, regardless, Kevin Durant has never been in a position where there's adversity and come out on top. He has to be in a position where he's comfortable in order for him to succeed, and that does not define what the best player in the world is for me. If you want to be the best player in the world, you need to have some adversity and come through it on the good side, and he hasn't done that. And clearly, he can't be a leader of men, because he should be with Team USA right now, and he's not doing it.
We'll see, man. Watch. He's going to do exactly all the things that you just said in these Olympics. They're building it up. Look, Team USA, we're talking about Kevin Durant here. We're talking about 7-foot guy who can dribble, shoot, pass.
Gifted scorer. Most gifted scorer we've ever seen.
Play defense.
I don't care.
We're good.
I don't care. I'm not putting him above LeBron James. A LeBron James led or Kobe Bryant led, Michael Jordan led Team USA basketball team would never ever lose to a team like France. Period. And Kevin Durant is supposed to be as talented as them, right? Or really, really damn close. He's not.
Hey, Michael Jordan was playing with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Barkley and all these. They had the A team.
They had literally the best basketball team ever assembled. I get it.
Yeah, we got
but regardless,
JaVale McGee and
that's a good
Keldon
point.
Johnson and.
But even if he didn't, Michael Jordan would not let Team USA lose to a much lesser team like this. And I think you can agree with that.
He's not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's not in the league right now, though. So, I mean, he could still be the best.
LeBron James would never let a team who is this much better than everybody else lose games. 3 of 4. Even if 2 of them didn't count. Doesn't matter.
I mean, where is LeBron James? He's still in the NBA, right? I mean,
he's hurt. He's 38. He didn't even play in the last Olympics.
He didn't show up. So
36, not 38. 36.
Hey, I don't know if he can still do it.
He didn't play in 2016.
I don't know if he can still do it not with this roster.
Oh my goodness, Chris. don't just let your only rebuttal be that. Where's LeBron? No, stop. You know he's hurt.
I
You
mean,
know
where is he? Look,
he retired from Olympic play when he was after he turned 30. When he was in
hey,
his prime, they won a gold medal in 2008 and 2012, and he doesn't need to do it again.
hey, KD will do it.
Look, if Kevin Durant can't win this gold medal,
Look,
it is,
look, the world
it
basketball
is,
is the best it's ever been, too.
I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. If he's the best player in the world, it shouldn't matter, should it? And if he has the best team in the world, it definitely shouldn't matter. Not even Team USA is so much better than every other team in here. It does not matter.
I don't know,
It
man.
really doesn't.
Well, I mean, I think so, too. That's why I think they're going to win. And part of the reason they're better than everybody is because they have Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and he's not performing, and he can't be a leader. Clearly.
He's going to lead this team. Don't worry.
Look, we'll see what happens, bro. But I'm not nearly as confident as you right now because I've never seen him be a leader, and I've never seen him come through adversity on a good side.
Keep watching.
Have you though? Have you ever seen Kevin Durant go through some serious adversity and come out, perform really well, and come out as a victor, and whatever that may be?
Yeah.
I have not. When?
They faced adversity. His first year in Golden State. He was the most hated man on the planet.
Are you really using Golden State as
Yes.
adversity right now? How was that adversity, Chris? How
'Cause
was that adversity?
There was no KD fans out there.
It doesn't matter
It
about
was-
fans. I'm talking about on the court adversity.
Yeah, he had the most pressure of probably any player in the last 10, 20 years. The pressure after going to Golden State,
Chris.
it's championship or bust. And not only did he win the championship, he was by far the best player on the court. So,
He was playing on the team that just broke the record for most wins in the regular season. He made
they
them
couldn't
a lot
win the
better. I get it,
championship.
Chris. He's playing with two of the two best shooters of all time. And you call that adversity. I don't care that he was the most hated. It doesn't matter.
So what happened to LeBron in 2011?
Oh, he choked. I've admitted
A
this
similar
multiple times.
situation.
But he's come through. He won a championship against Golden State, the 73-9 Golden State, after going down 3-1 in the finals. That is what adversity is. Kevin Durant has not done anything close to that, one, or two, just going through adversity on the court when in his position where he should not win. He's supposed to win every time, and he doesn't.
Man, I don't know. The first time they made the finals, they weren't supposed to be there.
No, you're right. You're right.
They were young. They beat some very good teams. They beat the Spurs, who were. We all know what happened with the Spurs the year after.
Yeah, they got Kawhi Leonard and went to the finals.
Yeah, so I mean, they obviously beat that team. He's done some things in his career, man. You gotta give the man his respect.
When has he gone through adversity and come out a victor? He hasn't.
Hey, he got two rings. He still got time. They're gonna win the championship this next year, and that's gonna be 3.
You're not answering my question. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. Period.
I told you. I think that's a lot of pressure, man.
Look, it does. If you call that, okay, you can call that pressure if you want, but I don't think that's nearly as that's not pressure compared to what other players have had to do, and have who other teams players have had to go through. Kevin Durant has always failed. Whenever he's supposed to come up big, every time. I mean, I know he came up big in the finals with Golden State, but you're literally the best. Obviously, you might be the best team of all time, the most offensively the best team of all time, and you call that going through adversity? Stop it.
He came up big this year.
Stop it.
He went through adversity this year and came up big. He didn't falter. You can't say he failed. Can't say he failed this year.
I got knocked out in the second round.
Hey, man, it's a game of inches. It's a game of inches. Inches away from the championship. That's how I'm gonna look at it.
He's not the best player in the world right now.
Look, I'll give you one too. I feel like with this championship and moving forward, I think Giannis has moved ahead of LeBron for the current rankings. I think that Giannis is gonna be the better player moving forward, and
Look,
it is what it is.
LeBron was in the MVP race before he got hurt. He gets hurt. Get what LeBron is. He just won a championship a year ago. I know Anthony Davis was probably a better player than LeBron in that series, but regardless, he won a championship last year. He was playing very well before he got hurt this year. Comes back. He has a hurt team. He's hurt. He gets knocked out of the first round to the Western Conference champions. I'm not gonna say that Giannis is better than LeBron right now because LeBron is hurt, and the last time I've seen LeBron, he was hurt. Last time he was healthy, he won a championship. So I'm not gonna say Giannis is better than LeBron right now. He's pretty close though.
Giannis is better than LeBron.
I think those top three are like neck and neck and neck. But Kevin Durant is just
I'd agree with that. Kevin Durant won though.
No. Kevin Durant is not it. Talent wise, absolutely, but I'm not. It matters what's going on up here too in your head, and he's not. He just doesn't have it.
If you say so, man, we're going to see with Team USA. They're bringing back the gold. Just keep watching. I did want to bring up the point that for some odd reason, the game wasn't on TV today. Found the stream online with like 10 seconds left in the game, so that was not fun for me. Get those games on TV. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, even if I know like the way the Olympics works is NBC shows the prime time events for prime time for us, right? Like right now, I'm pretty sure the Olympics are on, even though they're all sleeping in Tokyo. The main events are on TV right now, but for like basketball and certain other things, just have the live. I don't understand why you don't even have them on. Like I know there were other events on this morning when we woke up and Team USA was playing, but Team USA basketball wasn't on. I don't understand it. But yet, right after that game ends, they have Australia's game on. I don't understand.
Yeah, definitely. It was shocking to me. I was very confused, especially because Team USA has been getting a lot of hype in the media, especially with all the losses. I thought that people would be clamoring to watch it, and I definitely was. So disappointing for sure. But yeah, I guess we can move off that. We could talk a little bit about the NFL here. Definitely wanted to get into that. We're coming in hot. Season is right around the corner. I know it feels like it's like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize it was that close, especially with basketball just wrapping up.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got some storylines here. I don't know if there's any that you wanted to touch on first. What's your biggest storyline right now going into the NFL?
Definitely think it's the whole Aaron Rodgers saga, if there is even a saga, because I know the other day, yesterday or the day before, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams had a cryptic Instagram story where they, had a picture of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan together on the court, and they posted it, the exact same picture at the exact same time in their Instagram story. So I don't know what that means. Aaron Rodgers, the rumor has it that he wants out. Is he going to be? I think he is. I mean, how old is he now? 37? He's old. He's getting up there. He's almost 40. He's been around for a while, and so aren't going to be willing to give up a lot of trade value to get a 37-year-old quarterback. Even though he is Aaron Rodgers, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, legend, one of the best quarterbacks ever. I get it, but teams aren't going to want to leverage their future just to get that guy for a year or two that he has left, or 3, 4, whatever, however many years he has left. I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Packers this year, and I'm hoping that he's the same bad man that Stephen A. always talks about.
Yeah, I think he's going to be on the Packers this year, but I don't think it's going to go too good for them as a team. I just don't think it's going to work out. The frustrated quarterback. I'm hearing Devontae Adams also turning down contract extensions from the Packers. So there might be some frustration there. Obviously, he probably wants to play with a good quarterback. Maybe not sold on Jordan Love. That's just me speculating. But I don't think it's going to go very good. I think the Packers, they'll probably make the playoffs still because Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback. They got a good team, but I could definitely see this team going out first round just with all the dysfunction going on.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, we could moving on from the Packers. Deshaun Watson, I thought this was kind of crazy. He reported to training camp, Texas training camp, in order to avoid the fines for his contract. He was supposed to be getting fined $50,000 a day for every day he missed. So obviously a lot of money there. Didn't want to risk that, but with everything going on, I don't know how close you've been to this situation and keeping up with it, but he's got the sexual assault allegations against him. Obviously, he wants a trade from the Texans. That happened before all the allegations. What's your read on the situation? What do you think's gonna happen with Watson?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. I don't know. Like we have no idea what's going to happen with his legal situation. But in terms of being a football player, the as an Eagles fan, I've heard a whole bunch of different rumors about the Eagles wanting to, the Eagles thinking about trying to trade for him, and Adam Schefter made the point, and it was a very obvious point a couple weeks ago that the Eagles would be in prime position to make an offer for the Texans based on the fact that they're gonna most likely have 3 first-round picks next season. One being from I think the Dolphins, who we traded with in this draft, and then
Yep.
the second-round pick that we traded to the Colts for Carson Wentz will turn into a first, depending on if Carson Wentz plays 75% of snaps for the Colts this year, which is most likely going to happen unless he gets hurt. So, as far as football, I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea how good or bad the Texans. I think the Texans are going to be at the very bottom of the AFC South. Deshaun Watson is probably going to put up a lot of numbers, or as much as he can anyway. But without having a good receiving core, a good offensive line, I mean, I know they have Laramie Tunsil, but other than that, their offensive line has never been good. The
Yeah.
Texans are just a mess. They're a mess, and I'm hoping he does get traded because we all want the league's best players on good teams, and we never like to see one of the league's best players struggling on a bad team. But yeah, as far as this year, I mean, I think he'll play, but I have no idea, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm starting to think he's not gonna play. I definitely think that if the situation's not resolved with his legal situation and everything, they're not going to let him on the field. He's probably going to be on the commissioner's exempt list until they figure out, what happened, what's the punishment, where should we go from here. So I'm really thinking that as of right now, I'm not banking on Deshaun Watson playing. I hope he does. I hope that he didn't do any of the things that he got accused of, because of course we talked about that before. We don't condone any of that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if everything's on the up and up, he gets back on the field. I still think he's great, and I still think the Texans are terrible, and they could still be the worst team in the league even with him.
Yeah, it's a rough situation, man. The whole thing, whether they come at the legal situation or the football situation, I feel for Houston fans because they've had 3 of the league's best players for the past 10 years, and they just wasted it. Absolutely wasted it.
100%. 100%. Terrible organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can move off the Texans and Deshaun Watson. We could talk about the Cardinals for a little bit. I saw this news. I think this happened today. Chandler Jones, star pass rusher for the Cardinals, is apparently unhappy over his contract, and he's requested a trade from the Cardinals. Thought that was huge news. Now the Cardinals are saying that they don't want to trade him. They still view him as a pivotal piece to their defense. He's supposed to be the anchor along with J.J. Watt this year. They apparently thought that he was happy going to be playing with J.J. Watt. So it seems like the Cardinals are pretty shocked about this. What's your reaction to it?
I mean, look, the Cardinals need to do everything they can to try and keep him there because, uh, one, they have a very, very good team, a young, good team that's growing, getting better. Young coach, young quarterback, who's growing, just getting better and better each year. Their defense got better last year, and it's going to keep getting better. Like you said, they added J.J. Watt to play with Chandler Jones. Those two guys have been just destroying quarterbacks as long as they've both been in the league for the past 5+ years, almost 10 years for J.J. Watt now. Um, but yeah, and they're going to need them to compete in their division. I mean, they're still playing in the best division in the league.
Yeah.
All four teams in that division can easily make the playoffs. They have enough talent to make the playoffs, and the Cardinals should have made the playoffs last year if they didn't choke away that last wild card spot. Um,
100. I'd go one step further and say if everything goes right, any one of these teams could win the Super Bowl.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm
It's a
not
good
gonna say
division.
that, but I think all four of them can win the division. I think the Rams right now for me are the favorite, and I think the Rams are the second best team in the conference just on paper and for the preseason. I think they're second best team in the NFC behind the Bucks. Um, with the addition of Matthew Stafford, and that's just going to be crazy, uh, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, here soon. But yeah, as far as the Cardinals, man, they need to do everything they can to keep Chandler Jones because didn't he lead the league in sacks last year? And or if not last year, the year before that.
Yeah,
He's an
definitely recently. Yeah,
absolute menace to offensive lines. So if he leaves, that defense gets a lot worse.
100%. He's one of the top defensive players in the league right now for sure. And the Cardinals definitely, like you said, they need him.
Yeah.
They're not one of the best defenses like that. We know they added J.J. Watt, but J.J. Watt's starting to get a little older. I don't know if he's still the same dominant, defensive player of the year type player. Still think he's very good, but they need the two of them to both be very good. Obviously, we know they lost Patrick Peterson, so I don't really know. I think if I was picking, I'd probably have the Cardinals coming last in the division right now. But like you said, any of these teams can win the division. They do have a dynamic offense, so we'll have to see what happens with the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's just so exciting to talk about the NFL again. So excited, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited too. I'm definitely excited for the next set of teams we're going to talk about here. It's our beloved NFC East. I've been hearing a lot of jokes talking about the NFC least,
Yep.
and it's fair after what happened last year. Definitely, I'm not going to argue with anybody over it, but I will say I have some hope. I think the Washington football team is looking pretty good. I think we're going to win this division, and it's not going to be an NFC least type of below 500 thing. I think we played 17 this year, at least 10-7 for the football team. I think we win this division. What do you think about that?
10-7. See, I gotta look at your schedule.
We
10 and
got a tough
7.
schedule.
It's not. Yeah, you have a first place. You have a first place schedule. So, um, that's gonna be tough. Play all three other teams in the NFC who won first place in their division. You play the AFC West because I know the Eagles play the AFC West and also the NFC South. Um, it's gonna be tough, man. It's I think the NFC East teams are gonna they're all gonna struggle at times this year, and I think they're gonna beat up on each other. I think the Eagles right now are the worst team in the division. But I can see you guys going. I can see you guys getting 10 based on their schedule.
I just wanted to hear you say the Eagles are the worst.
Oh, look, I'm gonna admit that. I mean, after last year, how can I not admit that? I'm not gonna have any sort of confidence in this team right now. Howie Roseman is still the GM. We have a new coach who we don't know anything about. Uh, they, I know we got rid of a lot of veterans, like Alshon Jeffrey is no. I mean, I don't even know if he's on the roster right now, to be honest. Um, but a lot of these vets aren't. And Nelson Aguilar's gone finally, he was gone last year. But look,
Had a breakout year.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He was solid for the. Hey, he got himself a contract in New England.
He was as solid as he was in 2017 when we won the Super Bowl.
Hey, he was
Um,
the Raiders' leading receiver. I mean, obviously Darren Waller, but
right.
leading
Yeah.
receiver.
No, but look, I mean, as far as Washington goes, before I start going on a tangent here, like I'm like I'm known to do, uh, I think y'all can get 10 wins. I don't know about winning. I don't know if y'all can win the games against the other first place teams in the NFC. So that would be the Packers, the Buccaneers, and the who won the NFC West last year? Was it the Seahawks? Yeah.
Well, actually, the
Um,
Saints won the South, but
no,
yeah.
the
Oh
West.
yeah, yeah. I was saying other than the Buccaneers though. We still
Oh
play
yeah,
them, but
we
yeah,
played the South anyway.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't even consider the Saints as a contender right now. So I don't think y'all can beat any of those teams. Uh, but the rest of your schedule, other than playing the Chiefs, is a toss-up. And you play the Bills as well. That's oof. Yeah. Other than those like 5 games, I think the rest of your schedule is very winnable. So I can see a 10-7 uh, result for you all. But I can also see the Eagles getting 9 wins because their schedule is not very.
Whoa,
I know. Look,
I cannot see that.
their schedule is not hard. It's not. They have the least. They have the worst schedule in the league compared to teams
That's
records
fine.
last year.
It's still NFL
I
teams, and the
look.
Eagles aren't
Yeah.
very good.
If Jalen Hurts can be anything, the Eagles can get I think 8 9 wins this year. Um,
I just don't believe that. I don't know.
I
I
still think they're the worst team in the. I think that's their absolute best prediction. Like if they had the absolute best season they could have, 9 and 8 is I think is what they could get. Like if you guys have a great year, I think you can get like 13 14 wins.
okay, okay.
If that's what I'm saying. Like
I-
if
I'll
Ryan
ex- I'll accept that.
if Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't turn the ball over and he's good
Big if.
like he was, big if, right? Like if he was good like he was for Miami and doesn't turn the ball, y'all can get 13 14 wins I think. Because the defense got better. Terry McLaurin's just going to get better. Antonio Gibson's just going to get better. So, yeah, I mean, the NFC East, man, I don't even know. I'm so emotionally attached to this division. Like I can't stand every other team. And right now I can't stand the Eagles just as much because of the debacle of last year. Um, but yeah, it'll be very interesting for sure.
Yeah, definitely. 100% my favorite
I mean,
division.
and the Eagles added Steven Nelson to be their CB2, who is a very solid cornerback. No CB1. He's definitely not a CB1 type player, but he's definitely a very very good CB2 to pair along Darius Slay. Darius Slay isn't a slouch either. I know he had some games where DK Metcalf really torched him, but if you watch the film of those games, Darius Slay was playing really good defense. It's just DK Metcalf being 5 times his size. Uh, that's the big one. So, um, they added some more pieces that I don't even really. I honestly haven't tried to keep up with the Eagles because it just made me depressed. um, but yeah, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts this year. That's the biggest thing I'm excited for is to see those guys connect because they have that rapport from being at Alabama together. And Devontae Smith looks like the real deal. So every single interview I've seen with a veteran Eagles player said they're all blown away by this kid. So hopefully hopefully he does blow away on the field once the season starts.
100%. That is one thing you guys do have going for you. You guys got some young, electric players that, even though I hate you guys, I still want to see these guys on the field because they could be exciting to watch.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
one thing I did want to bring up about our division, though, we haven't mentioned them, I don't think at all. That's the Cowboys.
Yeah, dude, they don't deserve to be mentioned.
People are doing it again, man. They do it every
I know they
year.
are every single
It's
year.
it's it's perfect. It's this time of year where the Cowboys have so much talent. They're definitely going to the playoffs. Look, this team has enough talent. They could win the Super Bowl. I hear it
Yada
every
yada yada.
year. Yeah,
I've seen those.
exactly, etc. You fill in the blank. You know the rest. Any credence to that? I guess you kind of already gave it away, but you don't subscribe to that theory at all that the Cowboys
Absolutely,
are the favorites in the division.
absolutely not. No, I think there's a third. Right now, I would say that number three. I would say that it would be Washington, the Giants, then Dallas. Strictly because their defenses. Washington had what, a top five defense last year. I think the Giants had a really close. They had a top 10 defense last year. The Giants added Kenny Galladay to pair along with Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley will be back. If Daniel Jones isn't horrible, the Giants could be a very very solid team. We already talked about Washington having uh, what's his name,
Chase
Chase
Young,
Young, yeah, Chase Young,
defensive
and
player
then
of the year this year.
that's a bold statement, but it's not crazy by any means. Um, what's the other outside linebacker y'all have?
Oh, the pass rusher, Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat. That's right.
Yeah.
Those two guys, man. Those two guys, along with I think the rest of your front seven, are very very good. Um, yeah. So I think it's Washington, New York, Dallas, Philly right now, and I could easily see Philly over surpassing Dallas because what was Dallas's uh, why were they so good previously? Like the past, like when Dak was a rookie and when Zeke was young, before he became
Oh, this is the offensive
strong.
line.
It was the offensive line. It was their offense. I mean, Dak still no before that ridiculously gruesome injury, but their defense was historically bad,
Yeah.
and they didn't really address that in this offseason, like at all. Like not in the draft. I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but I
Nah, they
don't
spent
think.
I think their first 4 or 5 picks on defense, but
Okay, so that just shows you how much I paid attention to Dallas. I
even
just
with that, we still got to see it on the field. We don't know if that's going to
exactly,
do anything.
exactly. And I know they signed Leighton Vander Esch left, right? Because he was a free agent and they didn't want to sign him because of his injuries.
No, I think I'm not sure about Van Der Esch. I know Sean Lee retired because
Right.
of his stuff.
All of his injuries, yeah. But
But yeah,
regardless, their defense was historically bad. Dak Prescott was putting up historic numbers last year, and it didn't matter. They still started off 1-4, right, before he got hurt, or 0-4 or something. They had a really bad start. Um, I mean, and Dak is coming off that injury. Who knows if he'll be the same? We don't know if he'll be able to move as well as he used to. And his arm has never been super accurate if he's just standing in the pocket. So, he's used his mobility and as a weapon as he should, and it definitely helped him a lot. So we don't know if that'll be the same. And yeah, so no, I'm not buying into any of that about Dallas being a Super Bowl contender. Get out, they're not even a contender for the division right now. Stop it. No, absolutely not.
I will say this. I am a little nervous though. I feel like it could turn into the least again. I could see it going bad for all these teams, including my Washington football team. I
Oh
hate to
yeah,
say it, but we know the history. Can never count on the Washington team to come through when there's any expectations. So
just remember, like I'm gonna every
I'm
time you
worried.
say that, every time you say that, I'm gonna remind you of your head coach. It's a different culture.
Yeah, I get
Super
that.
Bowl,
I mean,
Super Bowl head coach, Super Bowl mentality. You can see it change last year when y'all were last in the division with 2 wins after 9 weeks and end up winning the division. I understand the rest of the division was horrible, but you still, you play with the cards you're dealt, and they played the best cards
yeah,
they possibly could.
I appreciate that, but like, I don't know, man. It's just too many times. It's like fool me once, shame on you. But I'm not gonna keep being fooled again without
I understand that.
at least bracing myself for that.
I understand that.
Then I'm just looking at the rest of the division, the Giants. I don't trust Daniel Jones in the slightest. I actually think he's a bum. I don't like saying that, but I don't think he's a starting NFL quarterback. He can maybe be a backup somewhere, but I just don't think he's good enough.
Yeah.
The Eagles, we talked about their troubles, weren't very good last year. They could be solid. They could be very bad. I think they're going to be very bad, but
No,
we'll
look.
see. I mean, if these things
The
happen,
reason
the Cowboys might take it, and I don't want to see that happen.
The reason I don't think the Eagles are going to be there, I think they're going to, I think their floor is 6 or 7, and their ceiling is 8 or 9. They're just around the area.
I'd put the floor a little lower, but
And the reason I
I'd
say the
agree.
floor is where it's at is because of their both lines. Their offensive line is back and healthy. They still have Lane Johnson. Jason Kelsey came back for some reason. I don't. He's 30 something. I thought for sure he would retire after last year, but he came back. Brandon Brooks is back again, who people forget about. Uh, they have Andre Dillard as their left tackle, or actually, I don't even think he's going to be left tackle. I forget Jordan Mailata, the former rugby player, the massive human being, was great when he filled in at left tackle.
yeah, I was
And
gonna
then
say
they have a very good left guard too, who filled in some roles last year. So there is hope that the offense can perform well because of the offensive line. They're going to give Miles Sanders a whole bunch of holes, and give Jalen Hurts all the time in the world. So and obviously we still have the very good defensive line with Fletcher Cox leading the way. Brandon Graham is back as well, I think. So uh, that is the reason why I think their floor is where it's at being 6 or 7, because I don't think they're going to be horrible, because the way you win in the NFL, as we've seen, the reason why the Chiefs lost last year, the reason why the Bucks won, the reason why the Eagles won in 17, and the Patriots, and who's the other one? Past 4 years, um, I forget. Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking.
um,
Yeah,
every single year, their lines have been dominant. So you win. I think you win with obviously having a good quarterback, but right after getting your quarterback, the most important thing you need to do is build your offensive line and your defensive line up. And the Eagles have very good lines. So that's why I'm not as bullish on the Eagles as a lot of people are.
I respect it. I respect it. I mean, I still disagree. I just don't think it's a good football team outside of the offensive line, and even the offensive line is starting to age a little bit. So
They are.
we'll see.
Yeah, they are aging for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I guess from there, is there any other NFL stories you wanted to touch on?
No, just fantasy football is here, and I'm starting to do mock drafts, and I'm starting to get my jittery excitement back for the NFL. It's about that time that we start doing mocks, and I'm sure we're gonna do a mock episode here soon.
Definitely. That was fun last time we did that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely got to get another one of those up. But yeah, I mean, I guess from there, I was going to touch on the Olympics real quick. I know we touched on Team USA basketball, but are there any other sports you've been checking out so far?
Not yet. I mean, I did see that. I didn't really fully read into it, but the judges tried to change the way they judge Simone Biles in women's gymnastics for whatever reason, because she's doing. I don't know how accurate this is, because like I said, I didn't read into it, but they were changing the way they judged Simone Biles because of the things she was doing. They were deemed uh, too dangerous for other gymnasts to try, which doesn't make any sense to me. She's putting herself at her own risk, and the fact that she's doing it is making it look very easy. Just shows
Right.
why she's the most dominant women's gymnastics uh, gymnast, I guess, ever. Uh, so I don't understand if that's true. I just don't understand that whatsoever, because she knows she's the goat. She has subtly, not subtly, expressed that she's the goat, and it's very obvious that she is, because she's doing things that we've never seen before.
Definitely. I'm going to have to look into that. I didn't know about this change. I feel like that's completely unfair. Just change the rules for one athlete like that. So I'm going to have to do some more research on this, figure out what's going on, because that doesn't seem right at all to me. But she definitely is the GOAT, like you said. Even though I did see they didn't do so well in the prelims. I don't know. I was trying to watch it here right before we got on live, but had to hop on. So I will get a replay on that. We'll see what happens with that. I did want to bring up some other sports I was watching. I don't know if you've seen handball. This sport is legit. Like, I was watching some women. It wasn't even USA. It was I think Norway and South Korea. These women were going hard, like full out contact sport, trucking each other. Like it was great to watch. Actually, it was one of the more entertaining ones I've watched. Obviously, the swimming's been lit, but yeah, I mean, I guess from
Yeah,
there,
I mean,
no, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, until it really gets to like the medal, I guess performances, that's when I'll really start tuning in. Like all these like preliminary qualifiers to get to the medal, I guess the medal rounds. When they start handing out the medals, that's when I'll really start paying attention. Especially to the swimming, because I will never ever forget watching the 2008 Olympics when Team USA had the 4x100 freestyle, and we won. I think Team USA won by like zero point zero 0.04 seconds, and that's what secured Michael Phelps getting eight out of eight gold medals in 2008. So I mean, once we get there, it's gonna be crazy. That's the best part of the Olympics for me.
100%. I know some sports actually did give out some golds though. I was watching some weird sports these last couple of days, man. Fencing, that was cool.
I didn't
American
realize
woman
they
won
were
the
giving out
gold.
golds. I think didn't they just start 2 days ago?
Yeah, I think some of these tournaments are just like bam, 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 like.
Huh.
And then
That
what
just
was
shows you how much I know about the Olympics.
I'm trying to think? Oh, the triathlon. Because I mean, a sport
Oh,
like
of
that,
course.
they only run it one time. So
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that makes
yeah,
sense.
I think a Norwegian guy won that one. That was crazy to watch. But yeah, man, the Olympics it's a fun time. I think China's ahead of USA in golds right now, but like you said, it's really early.
Really early.
So, but yeah, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we get out of here?
Nope. Kevin Durant is not the best player in the world, and I'm going to stand by that because he is a weak leader and he's weak mentally. Period. End of story.
Like I'm just gonna say, Team USA all the way. KD,
Of course.
we're going all the way. We're winning the most golds, including that basketball one. We're not worried about it at all.
You say so. I'm a little worried.
Yeah. Hey, you have a right to be. It's okay. It's all good.
I shouldn't be. That's what's annoying. I've never been worried about Team USA winning gold medal when I've actually paid attention.
I feel it. Yeah, this is shakiest team for sure, but best player in the world.
Nope.
Yeah, also, look, if you're watching still, definitely give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Hoping to get more interaction next week in the chat. We'll see you guys. Miles will be back next week, so more content coming your way. Obviously, comment on this video here. Win this Dennis Rodman picture that I'm holding up. I'll put it a little bit closer so you can see it's a real picture, actually signed by Dennis Rodman. Comment on this video, get a chance to win that. But from there, I mean, like I said, if you made it this far, you're a true sports nerd like us. We appreciate the support. And yeah, keep nerding it up.